More Ron Paul. He said of the possibility that Iran has a nuclear weapon is not true at all. Doesn't mean they might not want a nuclear weapon. Okay, so we ignore evidence. Just ignore it. Then he gets his philosophy right? No other country, Paul said, is capable of attacking the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, were you around on 9/11? I think most of us were, right? Not only is another country capable of attacking the United States, it's capable of funding terrorists who attack the United States. How many foreign countries can threaten us right now, Paul asked sarcastically. How many are likely to invade us or drop a bomb on us? I can't imagine. Not invade us or drop a bomb on us. Pick us to pieces. With modern warfare, genius. Paul again called for an end of all sanctions currently imposed on Cuba, which he has said only makes Cubans dislike Americans. How does he know? Did he go there and take a poll? Did he take a survey? Ron Paul know that for sure? How? I think the Cubans hate Castro more than they hate us. What do you think about that, Ron Paul? So Ron Paul is on Fox News today. See, he's figured out how to get on Fox News. Say dumbass things, which are consistent with his thinking, and then people want to talk to him. I mean, 3,000 fellow Americans died on 9/11. Thousands of American men and women fighting the enemy have died. And this guy blames us. I think it's disrespectful to the families who've lost loved ones in these wars. I think it's disrespectful to the men and women in uniform today. I think it's disrespectful to all the people in our Defense Department and who work and who are in the armed services who are trying to protect this nation. It's disrespectful to the people who work in our national intelligence agencies, and it's disrespectful to local law enforcement. I mean, is this the guy we want carrying the Republican conservative banner when he's not a Republican or a conservative? When he threatens to run third party and thereby elect Obama? When its foreign policy is no different, as best I can tell, than George McGovern's? Have we changed, or is he a crackpot? So Ron Paul is confronted by Megyn Kelly, who is a superb lawyer and a superb host. On Fox News today, Mediaite, hat tip, cut 9, go.
And what you said was, quote, think of what happened after 9/11. The minute before there was any assessment, there was glee in the administration because now we can invade Iraq. Do you really believe, Congressman, that there was glee in the Bush administration after 3,000 American citizens died?
They might not describe it that way, but there was a lot of pleasure.
All right, stop. They might not describe it that way? What do you mean they might not describe it that way? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the guy's off his rocker. Say what you want about George Bush and that administration. This is an outrageous smear, a blasphemous smear of these folks and the United States military. And I'm sick and tired of sitting back and saying, I like Ron Paul on domestic issues, but on foreign policy, he's a schmuck. He's a crackpot. And I'll put up my positions on domestic issues and Russia's position on domestic issues and Sean's position on domestic issues. I'll put Milton Friedman's position on domestic issues and Bill Buckley and all the rest to Ron Paul's. And yet none of them, nobody in their right mind would say what you just heard. I want you to rewind this, Mr. Producer, because this guy could win the Iowa caucus and hang into this primary all the way to the end with hopes of giving a big speech at the convention and then claiming victory as he rides off into the sunset. Go.
And what you said was, quote, think of what happened after 9/11. The minute before there was any assessment, there was glee in the administration because now we can invade Iraq. Do you really believe, Congressman, that there was glee in the Bush administration after 3,000 American citizens died?
They might not describe it that way, but there was a lot of pleasure. The neoconservatives, even years before this, were looking for an opportunity. This doesn't mean they had glee about 9/11. That's a total misinterpretation. They had pleasure in knowing that they had an excuse now to do what they've been wanting to do for so long. And what did they do? They marched into Iraq based on lies. There was no Al-Qaeda, no weapons of mass destruction.
Stop. Let's assume all of that's correct. Just for argument's sake, then the president should have been impeached, right? If a president goes into a war with glee, wants an excuse because he's a neocon, wants to go to this war, and then lies about it to Congress, lies about it to the American people, does so with forethought and intention, conspiring against the government, his own government, and conspiring against the American people to fool them into a war. Did Ron Paul seek his impeachment? No. Instead, he puts this crap out now because, in many respects, these battles are unpopular because they've gone on a long time. He's an opportunist. And then he tells you he didn't say what he said. This is a perfect Ron Paul example. He says things and then says he doesn't mean what he said, or you misinterpreted what he said. I know exactly what he said. I just don't see how somebody can be labeled a conservative. If you really put it to Ron Paul, he'll tell you he's not a conservative. Because he's not. I mean, folks, Tea Party activists, conservatives out there, there's an effort underway to weaken this nation from within by different factions. We have the Emeritopia faction that wants to use the federal government to destroy this society. But there are other factions, too. There's another faction. And that other faction is more anarchy than anything else. And they want to promote something that's alien to this nation, too. Now, we can embrace constitutionalism, and we must. We can embrace free markets, and we must. But we don't have to open the front door to our enemies, do we? We don't have to pretend that but for us conquering the world and provoking certain people that we wouldn't be under attack. I don't know. Sam, Cape Coral, Florida, the Great Wink, W-I-N-K. What is your question, sir?
Yeah, I was just wondering, why do you believe that these countries want to attack America versus any other, popular country?
I don't know. Why did Adolf Hitler want to attack Russia?
Well, he wanted to conquer most of Europe, I believe.
Really? And what do the Islamo-Nazis want to do?
I'm not sure.
Yes, you are. They want to impose their will on the rest of the world, don't they? They've told us so, so why are you confused about this?
Well, I just don't know why it's why it's America only versus...
It's not America only. It's Europe. It's America. Any non-Muslim country. But we happen to be the strongest. We happen to be the ones that stand up to it. At least we have so far. That's why having an appeasement foreign policy never works. Whether it's Nazis, whether it's communists, whether it's Islamo-Nazis. Have you read much history? You sound like a young guy to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty young. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm completely well read, but I know my fair share. I've taken a few classes.
Really, taken a few classes?
Yeah.
Well, take a few more. Thank you for your call. Or maybe do some reading on your own. Do you really believe, ladies and I know most of you don't, but the flat earth dead-enders out there, you really believe that if we unilaterally disarm, if we cut our military by 50%, I think he's proposing something like that, withdraw all our bases, including from allied lands, that our enemies will lay down their arms and they won't attack us?